Hey, this is Matthew Brenner here from Action Karate. I'm here with Tariq. Say hi, Tariq.
Hey everyone, how are you?
Hey, so today we're going to talk about Tariq's experience of being an employee of Action Karate and working with Action Karate. And he's going to tell you a story about how he got started, what he likes most about it, and kind of like the culture of our company. So, Tariq, welcome. And can you give me a little bit of background about who you are? Just tell me a little bit of background, like your work experience you've done in the past, who you are now.
All right, sure. No, thanks for having me here. So first thing is I'm a graduate of Penn State University. So my background is in accounting and I have an MBA. So for about 13 years or so, I did construction consulting. So I did construction consulting all over Pennsylvania, down in South America, all over the US. So it was a lot of traveling, like real intense stuff, like reviewing contracts, meetings, traditional 9 to 5, sitting at a desk typing. After a while, I was like, oh man, I don't think I could really do this as much. So on the side, I was actually doing like a little bit of modeling and acting. And even though I hadn't done it since I was about like 5 or 6 years old, I was still training in martial arts, like in some sort of aspects. I may not have been in a traditional school, but I was still training in it. So I started to do a little bit of stunt work. So I was like, oh man, this is super fun. And I was like, man, I really need to get back into martial arts. So I came across Action Karate Mount Airy, which is actually my neighborhood. And Miss Rochelle Brenner, Sensei Rochelle, was over there, and I used to joke with her, and I was like, oh, I know you're looking for an after-school teacher. You should let me run it after school. And she was like, I don't think you can handle the little kids. I'm like, no, I think it would be fun. And I actually ended up leaving my traditional 9 to 5. It was in a February, so I had a few months to figure things out because I had like some other acting gigs going on where I could figure it out. And a little later in the summer, I knew that the school was coming up and I started working, doing the after school program, but I wasn't actually training at this point. I was just strictly doing the after school program. And I would always hear the classes going on. And I was like, you know what? I can do this. I was like, let me go out here and start training again. And then eventually, starting, of course, as a white belt, I actually began teaching. So it was actually good for, both myself as well as the students. And eventually, once I started training as a white belt, it just clicked. And I was like, oh man, this is really fun working with the after school program, and working here would be an awesome idea. And then eventually had the opportunity for a full-time job, and it just blossomed from there. So it's been going full steam ahead.
Cool. So what's your job title now?
So my job title now is the program director. So what I do is I help set up different, camp programs, school programs, because of course we do have our traditional classes at the school, but we also have classes that we teach at some elementary schools, different camps, stuff like that. I also do a lot of the enrollment. So we are always, searching for new students, scheduling the first lessons, and I also teach as well. So that is like one of the best things ever. So I love that I get to make connections just pretty much across the board.
Cool. And at your location, it sounds like you do you're kind of almost like a Swiss Army knife. Like you do a couple different things, right?
Yes, yes.
And what I want to hear is what do you like most about like what you do now? What about work with Action Karate do you like the most?
This is a great question. So what I love most, so it's two things. I love the culture of Action Karate, and I also love the flexibility. So when I say the flexibility, I'm still working and putting in my normal grind during the day, but like I have the ability. Like right now, I'm at home, but I'm still able to make my phone calls, do my emails and everything, and then I go into the school, do everything that we need to do in the school. But if I ever have something else that comes up, like a dentist appointment, or if I want to do like one of my acting gigs, not like, oh man, I have to like really be worried about asking my boss, can I have this time off? So like it's one of those things like there, right there, where everything is covered. But I would totally say the flexibility in the culture. Everyone is super friendly. Everyone helps each other out. I know stuff like that sounds cliche, but it really is like a family. So like all the Action Karates as a collective, it really is like a family atmosphere. So I absolutely love the flexibility and the culture.
So when you say flexibility, you mean the flexibility like if you have like something coming up in your life you need to take care of. You don't have to sweat of like you don't have to sweat about whether your boss or whoever is gonna let you off that time. Like they work with you to make sure you can still have your regular family life or
Absolutely,
whatever
just
else
like that. Yes, absolutely. That's the perfect way I would put it. It's basically a perfect family, like life work balance right there. So you still have plenty of time where you could do whatever you have to do in your normal life as well as still do your work, and you can help with the balance right there. So that is like the best aspect of the job right there.
Cool. And you mentioned something about the culture, especially about having support from the team. So can you tell me a time where like you needed support and you needed help, and then like how the culture actually provided that help for you, like how the team provided that help for you?
Oh, absolutely. So how I said my background, I came from basically doing construction management. So I'm used to being around a lot of construction people, not a lot of kids and everything like that. And I never thought that I would really like teaching kids, and I like absolutely love it. But when it comes to the teaching aspect, I don't have all the natural teaching abilities as some others. So both Sensei Rochelle and Sensei Tim. So Sensei Rochelle, of course, is an awesome teacher, and Sensei Tim was actually a college professor. So they actually helped me like hone my skills and how to approach the students, like different creative things that you could do to have the students think outside of the box, because we're teaching students, of course, from age 3 to an adult. So a 3-year-old is going to learn something totally different than an adult will. So Sensei Rochelle gave me good tips for the children, and Sensei Tim good tips for the older children. So it's right there. It's just like collective thoughts, collective minds. So if you have a question, you get excellent constructive feedback. There's no like withholding of knowledge or anything like that. So it's an excellent atmosphere to be around.
So you got involved with us, and you didn't get involved with us out of like desperation, right? Like you're a highly educated guy. You had a really, high quality job before this. And then you decided, like, you saw the martial arts program, you help with some after school stuff, which is like something they do at that location. And then you saw the martial arts classes, you're like, oh man, like I could do this. So, like now when you come to work, like, and you have your hours where you can do stuff at home, like answer emails, like text or calls or whatever, but then you have the time that we're in classes. So when you come to actual work and come to classes and like you're teaching, like what do you look forward to the most?
Oh, I love this question right here. When I used to work my traditional 9 to 5, it was like a dreadful feeling. It was almost like that Monday morning feeling every single day. But now when I go into karate, it's almost like a very enjoyable feeling, because you get to make connections, of course, not with just the students, but also the parents. So it is just like a wonderful experience. I love hearing all of the students' journeys, everywhere from parents telling you like, oh, my son used to lack a lot of confidence. Now he's super confident in everything. He's going out for the sports team right here, or talking about different children's self-control, or even like the adults just saying that they just feel so much better about themselves, just getting the fitness and the health aspect. So I just feel really good being able to touch different people's lives and just hearing that feedback, because I never really heard before. And children are like, oh my goodness, I love you so much. And adults are like, oh, you've been so welcoming ever since day one, and I love the help that you get. So I just love hearing all that feedback from everyone, just like really helping people out.
Very cool. And like what part of your job you have now that you feel like was most missing in the one you had in the past?
I would say basically that you're valued as an employee, because I have worked jobs where essentially, they'll like really work you, grind you out. And then if you were gone the next day, it's kind of like, all right, well, they'll just replace you right with somebody else. But you feel like very welcome here, like you're an actual needed asset. It's not just kind of like you're just somebody like on the books, or like, oh, you're just there doing this to keep the school running. But everyone is considered a valued employee. There's always, really good training that is offered, at the school. And then of course added things like healthcare, different bonuses like that. So totally being welcome here versus like other jobs, just way more of an inclusive feeling.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for sharing. And I appreciate you coming on here and telling your story. And I think it's really cool that you started just watching like an after school program they had at that, at that action karate location to saying, oh, I can do that, I guess. And then hopping into it and now being your full-time gig, and you still get to do something else things you love, which is I think some modeling and acting gigs on the side too, which I think you just enjoy, right? That's what you enjoy and been doing for a while.
Absolutely.
So it's cool that you can do both. Thank you for coming on here. You're awesome, Mr. Boston. Have a great day. I'll give you asa.
Thank you very much, sir. Asa.
Yeah, catch you later. Bye.
See you later.